Hey YouTube, this is Zach with Achilles Financial. It is Sunday, August 16th, and we are back. I am really looking forward to this week because on Friday after hours we had some really interesting news, including Warren Buffett and his bet on the gold industry, not necessarily gold in general, but the gold industry, as well as a change in investment strategy concerning U.S. financial institutions. This is a big deal. The other thing that I want to highlight is that we are going to be having a longer video today because we are going to be looking at a number of things, including a recap of some of the videos I did last week, some of the earnings that are coming out this week. As always, every Sunday we're looking at the economic indicators, and we have another slew of earnings this week. The earnings this week are not necessarily going to be market movers. However, we do have some stocks that can move, so I'm going to be showing some of those items, as well as I do plan on making some trades tomorrow morning to play off some of the bullishness associated with Warren Buffett's bets as of this past Friday. Again, when Berkshire Hathaway makes moves, the market likes to follow. So I will do my best to timestamp all of that information down below, and depending on when you're watching this video, I hope to have those complete. So thank you for watching the video. Thank you for your support. Let's get into it. So to start us off, I do want to highlight that the gold industry, or what I have here on the screen, the Standard & Poor's Gold Trust ETF, is going to be something I am going to be watching tomorrow. And the reason for that is because Warren Buffett made some interesting trades in the past 7 weeks, and I think that we're going to see some of that here now. So let me go ahead and show you one of the articles I've been referencing. So what you see here is Warren Buffett is shedding some of his larger positions in JP Morgan Chase as well as Wells Fargo. And this is a huge deal because over the course of the past quarter, they purchased nearly $2 billion in Bank of America shares. So he was building up a huge position, or rather further complementing his already large position in Bank of America. Meanwhile, during that same time period, he was shedding shares on JP Morgan and Wells Fargo. I think that this is a statement surrounding the expectation that we don't necessarily anticipate loan growth to continue in the long-term future. We really don't expect there to be much margins because the Federal Reserve has kept interest rates low, and the expectation is that they will continue to stay low. Now, granted, there's still a 26 million share holding in Bank of America, which is one of the largest positions. So it's interesting to see, are they going to be holding on to that? Or rather, are they expecting to see additional support for that institution or for the financials in general? So I'm interested to see that, but we'll find out kind of how that follows out. Now, what we did see, which is kind of a first of its kind for the Berkshire Hathaway portfolio, is we did see the Barrick gold mining company receive a $500 million investment into their shares. I do want to highlight that when we're having this conversation right here of Buffett buying gold, this gold is a mining company, not necessarily the end product. So he is betting that there's going to be a lot more people interested in gold going forward. While 500 million does seem like a lot of shares, you have to remember that this is the Berkshire Hathaway portfolio, and he has a lot of money. So he's, like we just said, he's got like a $50 billion position in Apple. So he's not betting the farm that this is going to go up, but this is a huge position for them. So let's just take a look at what that looks like for what happened to Barrick when that happened. So as you can see on the right hand side of your screen, Barrick Gold has just skyrocketed. And the reason for that is because they had that announcement. Again, all of this is happening after hours, and it's continued to happen. That my question is, I'm interested to see, is this something that's going to continue? We did see gold do very well a little bit sooner, or a little bit earlier this month in August. So I'm interested to see, is that something that is going to continue from a momentum standpoint? Again, a lot of people will copy this trade. So I'm interested to see if that happens. However, there are going to be other gold winners. So what I'm looking to potentially do is I'd like to see what this opens at tomorrow morning, because it's already up 7.5, nearly 9%. So we're going to be watching that there. Some of these options contracts, I don't know how up to date we are on these pricings, because they don't seem bad at this point in time. As you can see, if you had been purchasing the contract last week saying that it was going to be at $29.50, even if you just did it at market close, as you can see, you could have got those for 8 cents, and now the stock is nearly already there. So that would have been a huge move, and it would have been a lot of fun. But these are some of the calls that I'm going to be looking at, probably September, and I may go as far out of the money as $40 a share. Again, we'll have to see what that looks like at market open. I do think that there is a lot of potential to make some money here. However, because of this, and because I recognize other people are going to be looking at the same move, then I may look at some of the sympathy plays. So that's one of the reasons I had GLD up, which is that gold ETF that you can see here. Again, this is not necessarily going to move as quickly, but this is a move that I'll be looking at tomorrow morning at market open. I like the 190 number potentially, so we may be looking at that for the end of next week. So this is the moves based off of the industry associated with the Buffett moves. I don't think that JP Morgan is really going to struggle that much. As you can see, they didn't really move drastically off that news, except for a little downspout here. However, they recovered pretty quickly, so not overly concerning with them. I don't think that there's any surprise here, particularly since that Buffett still kept in $2 billion into Bank of America. So that's what we're looking at from the Buffett moves. Let's dive into our economic indicators. So this is going to be one of the shorter economic indicator sessions that we've done on this channel. I do want to highlight that, as you can see here, we are going to be looking at the Empire State Index tomorrow. This is really just going to be focused on New York City, or rather New York. Not really a huge market mover. Same with the Home Builders Index. Even if they surprise, I just don't think either one of these is going to have a negative impact on the entire market tomorrow. There could be some stuff industry-wise, so think Home Builders Index, think LGI, think DHI, but I still don't think we're going to see those moves tomorrow. Those same companies will be applied on the housing starts and building permits, and you may even see some moves on Redfin and Zillow for those. These FOMC minutes coming on Wednesday, I think that these can be market movers. They are important. However, the big thing is, are they going to surprise? Are we going to see that any of the Fed Reserve Board come out and say that we don't foresee any benefit going forward? Or do we need additional stimulus from Congress? Do we need this? Do we need that? We need clarity there. And I think that they're going to continue to provide a similar level of support and a similar level of transparency that we've gotten over the course of the past few months. So the big thing here is there going to be a surprise? My personal opinion, and I am not an expert, but my personal opinion is going to be that this is not going to come out and be any form of, hey, this is good, bad, or ugly. So I think that we'll be okay with this. Again, it really won't be any new news associated with that. Thursday, I'm going to continue to look at the initial jobless claims. I do want to highlight, and this is important to point out, that as soon as the unemployment benefits ended at the $600 a week federal level, that was the first time ever that we saw such a substantial decrease in the jobless claims, and we saw that in back-to-back weeks. We're still at continuing claims of just under 1 million, but it was the first time we've been under 1 million since late March. So this is super important, and I want to highlight that because I think that this is going to continue to play a role in the economic recovery, as we need to see these numbers going down, and we need to see businesses get rocking and rolling. So what can we do to make sure that the businesses are rocking and rolling? So those are the ones that are going to move. Existing home sales, again, think Zillow, Redfin, LGI, and DHI. So those are the ones to watch there. Next, I did want to highlight that I was gone for the better part of the past 4 days. During that time, I did have a few videos that came out that I just wanted to highlight. I do want to drive up my first rental property that I purchased. I'm currently 24 years old. When I was 21, I did a house hack where I purchased the property and I rented out the rooms while I was living there. All of that information is here. I'm pretty transparent about that. I do want you to go check that out if you find that stuff interesting and if you're interested in that same type of info. And lastly, as you can see here on the screen, we've got earnings this week. I'm going to do this relatively high level. The companies that I want to look at are JD coming out tomorrow. I'm looking at a continuation there. And then later this week, the one that I really want to be watching is Nvidia. Nvidia is very expensive to play is my only concern, but we are going to be watching that. Also, what's going to happen this week is we've got Target is announcing earnings, as well as Home Depot, Lowe's, and Walmart. So we've got Walmart, Home Depot, and then I believe Lowe's is on Wednesday. Walmart and Target are sympathy plays, so be watching them. I like Walmart a lot, and as you can see, they've just had a really good week last week, and I don't know if I want to play them this week because I just don't know if they can hit a big move, and it's going to be priced in, and it takes a lot to see Walmart really move. So I'm going to be watching that. The other one that we just saw is BABA. Again, we played BABA a little bit last week. I need to see a big move there. There's some information surrounding Trump potentially wanting to ban Alibaba from the United States and this, that, or the other. So be watching that one just because it can move, but it still has a lot of regulatory pressure. It has a lot of, there's a lot of U.S. politics that are at play there, and you can see that with a lot of the Chinese companies. So just be aware playing that. We may do another video going more in depth on some of this for this week. But these are some of the earnings to be watching. Again, not necessarily entire market movers like our big tech companies, but they do give a good indication of specific sectors. So I'm going to be watching them. And as always, if you have advice on trades, please drop those in the comment below. And if you found this video helpful, please leave a like and subscribe. Thanks everyone. Talk to you later.